Nice.
Look on the stretch. Foreigners, supermarkets, hardware stores, you name it, they're everywhere. So we have to find a way to be integrated and to see how we can work together as a country, embracing both locals and foreigners alike. Because similarly, Jamaicans have gone overseas to invest, and so we have to accept the reality that the world is small and we must think, think and act globally and not just locally. I want to also say that we have seen not the challenges from Hurricane Melissa, but also everyone here, I'm sure, would have heard about Iran and the war that's going on there. And of course, we have seen oil prices going up week after week. I think this week it went down slightly, but it's still higher than it would have been in the past. In the longest while, we have never seen the oil this high.
Yes, yes.
And when the oil prices go up, what's going to happen? Transportation goes up. And when transportation goes up, then everything goes up because we transport everything. And so, as a country and as a team of business owners, we must also seek to see how we can conserve, how we can innovate, how we can be creative. And we also may want to look at how do we lobby for any possible waiver on some of the taxes that are levied on oil so that the end
What them not fit that
small business operators can get back to what they for a living, and they can provide storage for some of their items. And if they do, it is at an exorbitant cost. And so I'm happy to be here today to hear from you so that I can be the champion of your issues. God bless you. Have a good
thank you, Dr. Campbell. And as I listen to him, I would like to suggest to everyone here, if you have your questions, your suggestions,
pretty girl. I'm talking about what's it fun
whatever it is, you have to write it down. So when we get to that section, we can go fast.
many things.
Because we would love to hear from everybody. All right, moving right along. So immediately beside Dr. Campbell is another gentleman who is also a member of Parliament. His name is Ian Hayes. And Mr. Hayes, I'm going to ask you to invite you to come up here. And
our will and our way. And we ask that as we engage in discussions to lobby on behalf of the business community in the parish of Westmoreland, that you will carefully guide our thoughts and let us seek to find solutions, methods, and reasons to favorable stir economic growth within this parish. Father, nothing happens without you, and in your absence, all things will fail. And greatly we invite your kind presence to be with us and to guide us now as we engage in these discussions. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parchment. Let me once again say good evening, everybody. And really want to thank you all for taking time out to be here with us this evening. A very special meeting of the Chamber of Commerce here in Westmoreland. And I say special because you're all here. But not only that, we have some very special guests with us this evening. Persons who took time out to travel from far, from their families, from the places where they would not only reside but do business, and from friends and other things to be here with us. And the fact that they're here today suggests that they have an interest in hearing from us, and hopefully, I didn't say anybody with a bag or anything, but hopefully there are some goodies for us. And I know you're looking forward to that. But certainly here I would think as a parish, we're the hardest hit from the hurricane that hit us last year. And the parish, for those who have not been here in a while, we're still recovering. We're still rebuilding. And if you look around, you will see that so many persons you still see persons struggling to pay the bills. Some are still without electricity, and the list goes on and on. But the good thing though, those of us who are here, we're alive. And we must be grateful for that, despite the challenges that we may face. So we meet here as a chamber the second Wednesday of each month. But this meeting was so special, so we're having it today, which is a Thursday. And if you have some business associates that you expect that would have been here already, send them a little nudge, a little reminder. Because listen, everybody, all views content, everybody's view is important, and we really want persons to be able to say what's on their mind. So the main objective this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is really to say, have a discussion, to hear from you, the business community, not only about the challenges that you face, but also your suggestions. What is it you think can be done to provide you with some support? But not only that, what support you are able to offer, because we want to work together. My stance and the chamber's stance has always been not just to seek to recover, but to rebuild and to do so stronger. Because make no mistakes about it. For those who experienced Hurricane Melissa, it's a possibility that it might come again at the same strength. It will not be Melissa, but we know we're in the belt where hurricanes are always happening. And so one must be prepared. It was a lesson for all of us. And it has affected us as an economy, not just in the parish. You know, somebody came down from Kingston about a month after the hurricane. And it said to me, oh, by the way, my name is Moses Jaivars, and I'm the president of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce. And the person said to me that, Moses, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And I said, why? We saw it on TV. We saw the pictures, but those did not do justice to what obtains on the globe here. And I tell you, a few persons cried, literally cried, when they saw the devastation down here in Westmoreland. Like many of us who are here, would have seen the buildings collapse, the roofs no longer exist, and the list goes on. So we have to continue to rebuild. And as a chamber, as I've always done this every evening, we must be in the habit of supporting one another, not
Yeah.
only in terms of tangible stuff and encouragement, but buy from one another. The local economy is the most important one for growth, and I encourage us all to do that. We are in a world today that has been shrinking more and more every year. And by that I mean with technology, with all access to information and everything, the world has been getting smaller and smaller. And I'm not just referring to what's happening electronically. If you look around us today, inside our space, a lot of foreign investors are here. Even right here in our little town, you look on the stretch, foreigners, supermarkets, hardware stores, you name it, they're everywhere. And it's a reality that we must face. I know some person will say, boy, it's our country and we want to do the business, but we're operating in a global space. So we have to find a way to be integrated and to see how we can work together as a country, embracing more locals and foreigners alike. Because similarly, Jamaicans have gone overseas to invest. And so we have to accept the reality that the world is small and we must think and act globally and not just locally. I want to also say that we have seen not only the challenges from Hurricane Melissa, but also everyone here, I'm sure, would have heard about Iran and the war that's going on there. And of course, we have seen oil prices going up week after week. I think this week it went down slightly, but it's still higher than it would have been in the past. In the longest while, we have never seen the oil this high. And when the oil prices go up, what's going to happen? Transportation goes up. And when transportation goes up, then everything goes up because we transport everything. Production goes up. And so as a country and as a team of business owners, we must also seek to see how we can conserve, how we can innovate, how we can be creative. And we also may want to look at how do we lobby for any possible waiver on some of the taxes that are levied on oil so that the end result to us can be cushioned somewhat, because not only it is going to increase inflation and the struggle will be even harder than it is right now. So there are many things facing us today, but I'll close this section by saying that inside every challenge, there are opportunities we see, and today we will explore opportunities as we have our discussion. So I would like to welcome some persons here and to introduce them at the head table. And I'll start with Peter Bunting, and he is a member of Parliament. Thank you, Pete. Welcome. Immediately beside him is Mr. Anthony Hilton, also a member of Parliament. And Mr. Bunting, I should say, is opposition spokesman on productivity, efficiency, and competitiveness. And Mr. Hilton is opposition spokesman on trade, investment, and global logistics. Gentlemen, if I make any mistake, please correct me. Okay? And then the money man, Mr. Julian Robinson, also a member of Parliament and opposition spokesman on finance. And I'm going to save the best for last. So I'm going to invite him to come up here and tell you who he is. Put your hands together for him.
Thank you very much. Rolling by the years. Yes, thank you very much. Chairman, lead of your position, members of Parliament, Deputy Mayor, business practitioners, friends in the media and elsewhere. Good evening. I am Date on camera. I have the privilege of representing the wonderful constituency of Eastern Westmoreland. And I have also been asked by the leader of opposition to be the spokesperson on agriculture. And the hurricane did make landfall in Eastern Westmoreland, and there has been significant displacement of businesses, small businesses. The similar destruction that was done to houses, most of the businesses suffer the same fate, and persons are having difficulties restarting. A lot of persons who want to restart are still not yet with electricity. Eastern Westmoreland has over 90% of the persons in the country that don't have electricity at this point in time. So yesterday the Minister of Energy said roughly about 3,000 persons are without electricity. 2,561 of them are from Eastern Westmoreland. So it means that quite a bit of those small business operators can't get back to what they do for a living. And they can't provide storage for some of their items. And if they do, it is at an exorbitant cost. And so I'm happy to be here today to hear from you so that I can be the champion of your issues. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. And as I listen to him, I would like to suggest to everyone here, if you have not yet done so already, your questions, your suggestions, whatever it is, you have to write it down. So when we get to that section, we can go fast because we would love to hear from everybody. All right, moving right along. So immediately beside Dr. Campbell is another gentleman who is also a member of Parliament. His name is Ian Hayes. And Mr. Hayes, I'm going to also invite you to come up here and just introduce yourself to these persons, this wonderful crew that we have here this evening. Put your hands together.
Thank you, Moses, leader of the opposition and the entire team that is here, business folks, citizens, one and all, good evening. I'm happy to see when the leader of the opposition comes to Westmoreland. In the last campaign, he had made some commitments in Westmoreland, and he's back here, and I know that Westmoreland is important to him. To the business community, let me say you're the lifeblood of this entire parish. You make commerce happen, you create jobs. I hear Moses speak about in terms of overseas investors. A lot of them in Westmoreland as we speak, and they need to buy and grow. But I just want to say, look, the People's National Party commitment has always been to Westmoreland, to the people of Westmoreland and an extension of the business community. So once again, God bless you all and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. And to his left is Senator Keisha Anderson. Did I get that correct? Put your hands together for her, please. And to her left is our Deputy Mayor, who you will hear from shortly. So I'll move from him, I'll be coming up here in a minute. So our Member of Parliament, Mr. Dwayne Vaz, I was about to say what section of the parish he served, but let him tell himself. Put your hands together.
Thank you, Moses. To the leader of opposition and the team, welcome to Central Westmoreland. And I just want to say to everyone who is here, I'm really happy for the turnout because I know the questions, the suggestions will be fruitful, and I know everybody is anxious to know what is happening from the government perspective for the business community. And the questions will be answered, I guarantee that. So I'm really happy you all are here. And I must say it's really refreshing to be back in the presence of the chamber in such a short period of time after not attending for so long. So I was summoned there 2 weeks ago, along with the mayor, and I'm back here again. So I'm really happy to be here, and I expect robust discussions, and we know that going forward, we will build together and ensure Westmoreland is a better place at the end of the day. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Voss. Like I said, I was going to save the best for last. I understand that we have another senator with us this afternoon, Roman Smart Ferguson. Okay, not here as yet, but I must say that leadership is by example, and usually it's not just what we say, it's what we do and what is visible. And to have such a team traveling here with us, then they must have had a great leader. And I speak of none other here than Mr. Mark Bowling. Thank you so much, sir. He's right there in the middle. Thank you for coming here with us. I think Mr. Hales, it was you who just spoke about the small businesses, right? I was having a conversation earlier with, I think, Mr. Hilton, and we were discussing the small and micro enterprises. And sometimes we don't hear too much about those businesses because they are micro and they're small. And whilst we understand that they don't advertise much and you don't see much of them and you don't really know exactly what they do sometimes, but the truth is they are the engine of the economy anywhere at all you want to go into the world. And let me give you a little example. Yes, put your hands together for it. A lot of the business owners here that I see today are micro and small. And when you think about them, these are the most vulnerable. Medium and large enterprises, most would have insurance and some reserve. But the small and micro, I'm referring to those persons who raise a few chicken, have a little farm, raise a few bees, a few goats, a few cows, and so forth. And they have the local shops. Those are the guys that when you look at them, they are the outlets for all the large businesses and medium businesses. Because let's use Grace Kennedy or Cinco as examples. Just imagine if they were to leave Kingston with trucks and deliver door to door to everybody. By the time they reach some of us, they would hunger would have killed me. As them say, because it's not possible. Logistically, it is not, and we were discussing it earlier. So these are the businesses, and I'm glad you came on today because you're the ones that we really need for you to get back on your feet quickly. And Mr. Golding, sir, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot because I really hope that you have some wisdom for them today, sir, that you can give them some ideas as to how they can get back on track. And I know they've been asking, will Mr. Golding be able to point where we can get some financial support? I know they can have those kind of information, sir, or the money, but we shall find out soon enough. But thank you, everybody, and welcome once again. So, our next item on the program is greetings from His Worship the Mayor, Dan Redalansi. Unfortunately, he's not here with us today, so his deputy, Mr. Devon Thomas, will be bringing greetings on his behalf. Make him welcome, please.
Good evening, everyone. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to welcome you onto our Westmoreland MSME dialogue, breaking barriers, building business. On behalf of the organizer, I extend sincere greetings to our distinguished guests, stakeholders, and members of the public who have joined us for this important engagement. This evening, we are particularly honored by the presence of several esteemed leaders who have demonstrated a steadfast commitment to the national development and advancement of the business community. Allow me to formally acknowledge Mark Olin, Leader of Opposition, Anthony Hilton, Opposition Spokesperson on Trade Investment Global Logistics, Peter Bunting, Opposition Spokesperson, Productivity, Efficiency, and Competitiveness, Julian Robinson, Opposition Spokesperson on Finance, Senator Keisha Anderson, and Senator, the other Senator absent, here, Senator Ferguson. We also recognize and commend the collaborative efforts of the People's National Party and the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce and Industry for convening this timely and significant forum. This dialogue represents a vital opportunity to engage constructive discourse surrounding the growth and sustainability of the micro, small, and medium-sized business enterprise. The MSME sector remains a cornerstone for our economy, contributing significantly to employment, innovation, and community development. We encourage all participants to engage, thoughtfully contribute, meaningfully, and embrace the spirit of collaboration that underpins the initiative. Once again, I welcome you and thank you for your presence and participation. I trust that this evening proceeding will be both productive and impactful. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. SSP Dobson also sent an apology. He was called to another event in Montego Bay, unable to make it, so he informed me that his deputy superintendent, Mrs. Ferguson, I'm not sure if she's here as yet. I'm not seeing her, so we will get back to her later when she arrives. And at this time, I will invite Mr. Cosman Jackson to the podium, and he will give an overview of the chamber, what it holds for you, what you can expect from the chamber, why you should be a member of the chamber. If you are, by the way, let me see the hands of those who are not yet members of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce. I see two fingers, two hands that are free. Don't be afraid to raise the hand. We're not going to charge not yet members. All right, so this is the last day that you should raise your hand when we ask that question, because as of today, you will become members. And Mr. Jackson will tell you why you should be. Mr. Jackson, please make you welcome, please.
The opposition, one of my former bosses, and I want to sit right there. Members of the table, President Moses, colleagues, it's good to be here. The chamber, as you know, we meet on a monthly basis, second Wednesday of each month, right at this location. And our main focus is to bring the community together. Business community, other stakeholders, teachers, everyone. Small enterprises, large enterprises. And I'll give you a quick story, which shouldn't last more than half a minute. Years ago, we had a major problem where a bridge was broken. And we were trying to get the government at the time to construct a new bridge at Paradise. Despite much effort, we were not reaching it, but we came together as a chamber. And we were able to lobby the National Works Agency, government, because these people started to be driving through another road, which was very lonely. Security was an issue. We were able to lobby the NWA, local stakeholder, also Busha Clark. We were able to get him to give temporary permission for a bypass on his property. And we realized the power of us coming together from that little situation. So you may have a small business and you may need assistance sometimes with a business plan, connections, etc. Chamber is the right place for you to come and be a part of this group. So I'm imploring those who are not members to become members. The chamber has been doing a few things in the community. Time won't permit for me to name them now, but there are quite a few projects that we embarked on, and we continue to do projects. Many of us here, we come together, we assist persons, we get people in business, we get people who are doing very well now, which gives us the pleasure of saying the chamber plays an important role in the lives of the people of this parish. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have these esteemed persons here. And I know most of them personally, and I can tell you that we'll be getting really interested in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson forgot to tell you one thing, that there's a small fee involved when you are becoming a member of the chamber. It's a small fee, that's why they won't be scared, trust me. If you're a sole trader, micro enterprise, it's only $5,000 per year. And for that, you get a lot of benefits. As Mr. Jackson was saying, it's a community that you get a network. People see what you do, what you sell, what you offer, your products, your services. You get a chance to sometimes display your products inside the room. And we also allow members what we call spotlight, that you can come up here, get a few minutes, and you can sell your business. And so those alone value far more than the $5,000 for sole traders. And of course, from time to time, we have resource persons. As we have these esteemed persons here this evening, we have some months ago, we had Exim Bank. We have other banks that come here, and we have Heart Trust who will come and and they have a lot to offer too in terms of training and development of our people. And the list goes on. So just to say to you guys that if you're not at the chamber, I'm very serious. You need to if you're not a member of the chamber, you need to become a member of the chamber because there's so much in store for you. So do you have your commitment that you will be a member of the chamber after today? I would like you to verbalize it. Yes. So Mr. Jackson mentioned some of the things that we have done. So I want to use the opportunity. Who knows all the way downtown Savanamar by the park, by the market, by the fort? You all know that little area down there? You don't? All right. For those who have never been down there, here's your big chance. On Labor Day, that's our project. We're partnering with the municipal corporation to give a facelift to right down at the east side. There's a lot of potholes down there, a lot of drain cleaning is needed, and the municipality said they don't have the money to do all of it. So we want to partner with them as a chamber to give a facelift. We probably won't be able to do major construction, but trust me, the facelift will lift the spirits of the people. A lot of commerce happens down there. So we plan to go down there on Labor Day. You'll hear more about this from us too. And we will let you know what contribution we require from each of you, financially and also your presence, your expertise on the day. Because we want the place to look a little bit better. The people on here serve us. And it's also a seafront, ocean front. And when you look at that, that's prime property. And we want to utilize it in such a way so that it provides a place for people to go and play, swim in the water, and to feel comfortable because the surrounding is clean. So we want to start with that, and over time we want to make it better and better and better. Before I move to the next item on the agenda, also want to say that for the larger businesses around here today that are present, and for those who are not, please pass the word along. Let us take a smaller business on our wings and mentor them. Talk with them, share not just our success, but our challenges so that they can learn how to grow and how to scale. It's important because at the end of the day, we're all Jamaicans, we're all Westmorelites, whether we came from another parish or not, but we're in Westmoreland now. So let's make our presence felt. So ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen now is that I know you've been waiting for this. So we're going to have a discussion segment. But let me ask you a question. Would you like us to go straight into the discussion? Or would you like to hear from the leader of the opposition, Member of Parliament, Mr. Mark Golding, first? Hold on, Mr. Golding, don't stand up yet. You want to hear from him or just go? hear from him? Mr. Gode, did you hear them, sir? You hear them? I'm a little harder here. You want to hear from him? All right. Mr. Gode, please put the hands together. We're welcoming to the board.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chaivar, colleagues, the head table, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to endorse the gratitude that has been expressed for each and every one having come out this evening, and also for scheduling the meeting today rather than yesterday at our request, because it would have been difficult for us to all have made it yesterday. So I want to thank you for having accommodated us to this evening. Driving down here, I haven't been to Westmoreland for a couple of months, and the last time, the parish was still very much in the throes of the aftermath of the hurricane. I was visiting various places, shelters and other places. Coming down today, I still felt that we were in the aftermath of a hurricane. Just driving along, just what I was witnessing and the vibe of the place. I know that things are still rough down in these parts. Still rough. And so, again, for you to take some time out to come and listen and share, respect you. And we want to hear from you as well, because we are representatives of the people, and our role is to represent the interests of the people. And in order to do that properly, you have to know what the people are thinking and feeling. So this is a good opportunity for us to hear from you. When I was listening to Dayton in his brief remarks explaining the fact a big issue in eastern Westmoreland, business people struggling, and we're focusing on business people tonight because we're at the chamber meeting, but obviously we feel it for all citizens and residents who are still suffering. But from the business perspective, to have been without light since October 28th, and today is April the 16th, and still not having light, it must be very depressing for those business people and the struggles they're going through. I feel it for them. And broadly speaking, the economy must be depressed when you have so many people who are struggling to get back on their feet. And I'm not here to play, but when I see the orientation of the government at the moment, the trajectory that they are taking, I don't see any major program for restoring small business, micro business in Western Jamaica. A third of the country has been devastated, and I don't see those programs. We see some things for residents through the roof program that has its own set of issues. But for the business community, I don't see it. It was tabled by the Prime Minister during his budget presentation, and then withdrawn on Tuesday, and a new bill tabled in its place. Looking through it, no focus for micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. It has a lot in it for investors investing 15 million US or more. You will now have NARA to help you navigate all of the regulatory approvals that you may need. And, to the extent that there are any issues or delays, you will have the minister being able to step in and say, don't worry, go ahead. So it's really for big projects, government-funded projects, or private investors investing 15 million US or more. But what about the tens of thousands of smaller business people in the country? You know, what is the government doing to support those business people? And it's, you know, we pay lip service to it, often saying that small business is economic activity, engine of growth, employ most people, and so on. But then when the chips are down and they need a little back at something to help them get back on their feet, nothing is forthcoming. I don't think that is right. In our last manifesto in the September general election last year, we had a number of things in there focusing on small business. We had essentially a tax holiday to encourage people to establish new businesses, a 3-year tax holiday for all new businesses that are established. We had a fund that we were going to fund initially with $1 billion and would top up annually for small business grants and so on. Because even though for many years resources have been provided out of the budget for small business, the distribution channel for those funds has often been choked, so that the businesses that are intended to benefit from that aren't able to access it. And I know Julian can give you more on this, but that, just to say that the requirements are often very detailed and extensive, and small businesses often can't answer those questions, can't provide those documents and so on. So they don't qualify, and the funds end up not being spent, which is really counterproductive, because everybody knows that the economy needs a vibrant small business sector, because it's small businesses that prove whether or not you're a good business person. And if you are, and you get the right support in the right environment, a small business can become a medium business, and one day can become a very large business, employing lots of people and generating high quality jobs. So we have to get behind small business people. Now, I heard about the Chamber's Labor Day project. On behalf of the People's National Party, we are committing, and I want to thank the Treasurer. You're lucky we have the Treasurer here this evening. We will be providing $100,000 of support to the Chamber for your Labor Day project. In terms of what Mr. Chaiba was suggesting, you know, that I speak to, in an environment like this where the situation is stressed, people are trying to find their way back to where they were prior to October 28th, so they can get their lives back on track, get their business back on track. I think a sense of community, a sense of a cooperation amongst the business community is very important. There are benefits that can be derived from sharing information and even sharing resources in terms of how you buy certain inputs and so on, where, you know, you can negotiate for better prices if you're buying in. So I would suggest to the Chamber that they should really encourage small business people to brainstorm together what areas that they can cooperate around, rather than thinking of maybe this is a competitor or whatever. The market is big, and the marketplace can accommodate everyone. So navigating the space through sharing ideas and sharing resources, buying in bulk, buying together, these are the kind of arrangements that maybe will help people to, get back on their feet a little quicker. I was going to say to Mr. Chiver as well, since we have this big crowd here and you've asked everybody to join, how about a discount for the early birds? A little single practitioner, sole proprietor discount for the first year. Given that I know the chamber has its needs and so on, but just encourage the people to join. You could consider giving them a little thing off of the 5,000. I'm sure it'd be well appreciated. How about that? Yeah. But as I've said, I think we're going through difficult times. And they're only going to get harder, I'm afraid. Because with the war in the Middle East and the government announcing yesterday, I think it was, that Petrojam is going to remove the cap that week by more than $4.50, regardless of what the actual price to them has been. But the cost of that, rising market has cost them, well, the last number I had heard was 5 million US, and that was at mid-March. So it's more now. And, Petrojam has been losing money in the last couple of years. So they're not in a financial position to absorb those losses. They're going to need a bailout from the government, which is not in the budget this year, to cover those losses. And they've essentially said they can't do that any longer. So they're going to have a new pricing formula, which is going to pass through more of the cost to the ultimate consumer, whether it be a business or so that is going to be a real challenge. And other countries have announced efforts by the government to cushion some of the blow on the people of those countries from this storm of higher prices that we're facing. And the whole world is facing it because oil is such an essential ingredient in energy, in transportation, in manufacturing, in pharmaceuticals, in agricultural inputs like fertilizers. So there are a wide array of critical inputs where prices are going to be impacted by this higher price. In 2015, on fuel, dedicated to financing an oil hedging program. That's a technical word, but essentially what it was to provide the resources so that Jamaica could purchase insurance in the international financial markets, that if the price of oil went above an amount, whatever price we chose as the price above which we can't absorb that on our own, we would be entitled to a payment from whoever we bought that insurance from. That was a way of protecting the country from shocks which result in the spike in the price of oil. The new government did not think that was necessary. Abandoned the oil hedging program, and they no longer, I think Jamaica had done 4 hedging contracts up to that point. When those matured, they didn't renew them, but they kept the tax. So the purpose for which that tax was put in place is not being fulfilled. And of course, had we maintained it, we would have the benefit of it now. When the price has gone up to $100 or whatever it is per barrel, absorb full brunt of the movement in prices. Insurance is a funny thing, because when you pay a premium and the risk that you're waste your money. But that's not the case. In fact, you won because that risk hasn't hit you. But had it hit you, having paid that premium, you would be able to make a claim. And so that's the nature of insurance, that it's protecting you from the downside of a risk. Because if the risk doesn't transpire, you're okay. You know, you're not going to feel a hit anyway. But where the risk does transpire and you have no protection, then you're really feeling it. And that is what Jamaica is going into now. So I would say the government should really morally consider removing or substantially reducing that tax that was put in place to pay for the government, so that the people of Jamaica didn't have the benefit of that arrangement at a time during now where the prices have moved so heavily against the consumer. It's kind of a clear, I would say, a clear candidate for passing some relief back to the people by reducing that tax or eliminating it. Yes, it's going to have a budgetary impact if you do that, but restore ourselves through a vibrant economy, we will always be able to come out of that situation fiscally. But in the meantime, we have to ensure we survive. And so that would be a candidate, in my opinion, for giving back some relief to the people, because the moral justification is strong. That tax is only there to pay for insurance, and that insurance was not purchased with that tax. That tax was just gone into general revenues to pay increased salaries for those who got big increases. So, you know, the case for giving that tax back to people going forward, at least during this period, I think is a strong case. So, ladies and gentlemen, first have a conversation. I would really like to hear from the business community what life is like for you, and what are the things that you would like to see done to help you get back on your feet, because nothing seems to be happening to protect your sector, and that is totally unacceptable. So let us hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rowley. Very, very solid words indeed. And certainly any relief that we can get right now will help us. Because make no mistakes about it, we're in for some serious times. And no war and oil prices. Oil prices skyrocketing. So as they say in Jamaica, you're on your belly, because it's really tough times. So the relief is very important, sir. Mr. Golden, sir, considering I just pledged $1 million for the... Did I add a zero too much? 1-0? All right, so we will yield to his suggestion. And for the persons who are not yet members, I have not discussed this with my 50% discount today. All right? So you can fill out the form. The forms are at the back. Complete it. If you have the money with you, you can make the payment, or you can make it online. But get the form, fill it out, and hand it back to the person today. All right? All right. So before I go to the discussion, well, let me start the discussion segment. So, sir, I want to mention a few things on a lot of the roads that we have to drive on. You didn't fly here today, so you drove. All right. So you had a jolly time. No. Seriously, it takes so long to drive a mile that you could almost reach Kingston in some sense. And we're really need to get the roads repaired. Every direction you go, leaving or entering Savannah Lamar, it's an issue. South to Negril, south to Great Hill, south to Ferris, White House, going that direction, Petersfield, is just not acceptable. And to add to that is the issue with the wear and tear on your vehicle, especially at night. So that's one thing that's affecting productivity and efficiency, and we must conserve. The other issue we face, sir, which is is a very big one and has been with us for a very long time, is a sewage issue. Westmoreland, Savannah Lamar is below sea level. So when the tide comes in, it affects the sewage situation. And most of us have to be paid a truck to drain the cesspool, truck they call it, and take it away. And it costs us like about, some of them charge like $55,000 per load. Just imagine the impact on small businesses. And it has been like that for a long time. So we really need to have a central sewage system down here. The other problem we face is water. Because we have had housing developments, other types of development, not so much like factories and production plants, not too many of that, but a lot of houses have gone up over the last few years. But we have not seen the corresponding type of improvement in the infrastructure by the National Water Commission. So you find that the developer housing scheme up there around there, and yes, they run the pipes and everything, but very little water trickles in some of them, which is an issue. So what we really need is to be able to sit down to see what will it look like 50 years from now, and to start putting in that kind of infrastructure. That you don't have to go back every year, every time there's 100 or 200 houses coming on stream to put in some bigger pipes again. And that is, for a large way, that has been happening around here. And you find that you're trying to produce, water supply is not enough. Even some instances, electricity, there are voltage issues, not as bad as water issue, not as bad as the sewage issue. And those are some major things I see. Right now, I mentioned downtown Savannah Lamar earlier, where we have the all of that ocean front just sitting there sitting idle. Nobody uses it really. It's prime property for development that could add to the economy of Savannah Lamar and Westmoreland. And we have been, as a chamber, have been advocates for a long time, advocating for some development on there. Deaf ears. So that is one of the things I believe can add economic value to the parish. And I know we have 3 MPs here. Gentlemen, the chamber would really like to sit with you to work out a way, a model of some sort that we can actually lobby to get something happening down there. It is too prime, too good. I mean, tourism is so vibrant in Nigel. I mean, it's not far for us to have something happening from Nigel to South and have some attractions down there. It is ideal. We need to have it. All right, so I don't want to take up the entire meeting, but I see that our Deputy Soup has joined us. So I'm going to ask you to just come and know you had a greetings from SSP Dobson. So if you'll permit me before we have the discussion, allow her to just bring greetings. Please put your hands together for her.
Pleasant evening. I am Myrna Ferguson Campbell, Deputy Superintendent of Police for Westmoreland Division. I'm the admin officer, and I'm representing Senior Superintendent Dobson, who wanted to be here this evening. I want to greet you and to say thanks to the business community on a whole. I know not a large section of the persons from Westmoreland Division are here today, but I want also to extend thanks because, as you might know, that Westmoreland is one of the parish that enjoy the highest degree in terms of crime and criminality for Jamaica last year, and for this year we are doing even better because at this point, we in Westmoreland have seen a decrease close to 50%. shooting, we are seeing a decrease of 45%. We last month saw a lull, but at the start of April, about a week ago, we had some challenges in the Frome area where we had 3 murders. And that is what brought us below the 60% because this time last month we had 67% decrease because we only had 7 persons being murdered in the parish. But as I said, our partners have been working with us, and one of the friends is property friend, where persons are fearful. We were able to thwart some of those. Our intelligence apparatus, and as I said, it is through our residents that passed on information to us. We were able to take some of our breakers and the persons who commit the major robberies in the parish. And so you are not hearing of a lot of robberies. We are used to persons being shot from their motorcycles, persons' business places being robbed. And sir, I can tell you that over the weekend, last week, if we did not arrest 4 of these persons, business persons would be crying the parish because they had organized and thought that the parish was too quiet for a while and said they are going to give us some work. But we managed to take them into custody, and we are able to charge some of them. And I know that you will continue to work for us because it is only a win-win for all of us living in Westmoreland. We look forward for your continued support, and our engagements out there are increasing. And I know that persons who reside in the varying communities. We were in White House last week. Well, since week, we were in White House, we were in Negril, we were in the Frome area and Grangeville area, and we will continue to foster better relationship and partnership going forward. We ask that you continue to liaise with our police officers. We also got an increased number to the division for last month, and so you'll be seeing, well, not will be, I know you have seen increased presence where policing presence is concerned in all of our area, especially our township, our main roads. And as was expressed earlier, the bad road condition, it is making our job much more difficult. We had demonstration in the Hartford area, and even though we had to work our hearts go out to the residents, we know how difficult it is for persons to go through on a day-to-day basis. But we urged that whilst you continue to ask for assistance, that you do it in an orderly and lawful way. We continue to ask ourselves, because even patrolling becomes more difficult for us when we are not able to traverse the roadway at a certain pace and to go certain places. So we too are urging for some fix or some work to be done in all the areas in Westmoreland. I thank you.
It is that you do. And please try to keep it as brief as possible so that we can get in as many questions from everybody or about people. So, who is going to be the first hand to go up? All right? Yes? Go on, Mike. This one?
Mr. Miles, there's a lady at the front. Her hand went up first.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Stephanie Ardrey. I'm the CEO of Zeniverse Wellness Group. I'm a real estate developer and investor, and I'm from America. I escaped a year ago here to Jamaica. So thank you for introducing me to this hurricane. I've got a fan and some family here in the house. So Honorable Hilton and others know a little bit more about my interest. But my question specifically has to do with infrastructure. I've sort of been hiding here for the last 6 years since COVID. And what I noticed around the island are roads are being updated. And with that infrastructure, things like fiber optics and so on and so forth. And so the key factors for business growth include technology, access to financing, certainly access to energy. And so I'm just a little bit curious about how these things have been impacted in terms of further delays as a result of the hurricane, or kind of at a 50,000 foot view, where that is and how we bring it down to this particular community, which is my first focus for personal investment. And I do have some solutions, so not just asking questions, but I just want to get a context for where there remain big gaps and opportunities for public-private partnerships.
Thank you. So you may go ahead. The effect of the hurricane on the government's fiscal accounts was quite substantial. So there was a tax package which is coming into effect now to try and close that gap and so on. The government has said they have for the recovery of the country over the next few years, totaling about $6.7 billion US dollars, of which about 3.4 of that is really loans that they can access. 2.4 thereabouts, I think, is money they hope to attract from the private sector to be invested in projects that the multilateral partners of Jamaica, the IMF, the IDB, the World Bank, would get behind in some way to encourage to happen. And then the rest of it is financing that Jamaica had in place through our disaster risk management response framework, the CAT bonds that paid $150 million that went to JPS, the CRIF insurance, which is the regional insurance. So the point is there are resources supposedly available. Major infrastructural restoration projects, because part of getting country back on its feet, building back better, must be addressing the kind of infrastructure investments that would be catalytic for more economic activity. And we've heard from the chamber just how debilitating it is to have roads in the conditions that we are experiencing around these parts. And it's not limited to Westmoreland alone. You know, these are issues right over. So one would hope that what is being considered is a major work in a much more resilient state. And of course, there are also water issues as well. There's a Great River Water Project, and Ian, I'm sure, can tell you more about that. But I'm just giving you the overall financial background to this is, yes, the fiscal accounts are stressed, but there are resources available to the government to roll out some serious investment in some of these things if they choose to prioritize those things. Thank you. Who was next? All right. Who is running the mic on this side? So what we can do to make it balanced, we can take one person from this side and one from the middle and one from the other side, and we come back. But her hand was up, so let's do her first, then we go to alternating for her. Then we go to the middle, and then we go to the other side. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm a broadcaster from the United States. I'm from San Francisco, California. I invested in a lot in Negril, Jamaica. It was my first piece of property ever in my life that I've owned independently. I left retirement home for myself, and my surname is Williams, just so you know I'm family. But first, so I have an apartment that I can afford here that I rent, and I eat at local shops. And when the water is not flowing through the pipes, I have to fill up a bucket and pour it down the toilet like I've never done in the United States. I have to do my laundry by hand, and I have 3 buckets that I use, and I record myself and I put it on my social media to share all of my friends in the United States that think they want to come here and live in Jamaica. I would not be able to do it had I not grown up in a rough part of the United States where my parents taught me how to do laundry by hand, cook for myself with the bare minimum, eating beans all week, and still maintaining my health, my mental health, and my physical health in this beautiful place. That's the difference. But there aren't very many differences, and I am a lobbyist. I am a grassroots with locals in town hall meetings. I owned a child care service where I can help local child care providers build child care so that these parents can go to work, right? Have some good, resourceful, supportive, ground level support. And that's what I'm here for. So really ground level, first person, primary source, resources, and research. So that's what I'm here for. I also worked in transportation for the Department of Transportation in California. So I'm here to help, and I'll join today. Thank you.
We really appreciate that. And we will talk with you a little bit at the end of the meeting so we can get the contacts going. Much appreciated. Who is next? Raise your hand, please, in the middle.
Good evening, all members of the head table, opposition leader and his team. I have a question. I think MP Robinson and MP Hilton could possibly answer. Given the current geopolitical dynamics as it relates to oil and the possibility of the US dollar no longer being the main currency to purchase oil, how do you see Jamaica shaping itself to going out possibly on a deregulated market where it's just open market where you could just buy your fuel from the best price? Or how do you see us shaping and moving forward after the event of the war?
I think the big issue that we face is we import 95% of oil and gas to support our energy needs. That's simply not sustainable. When about 15 or 20 years ago, we had set a goal of generating 50% of our energy is 4 years from now. I don't think we're going to get to that goal. And the government has been slow in its efforts to roll out renewable energy. So when we were last in government, we had a request for proposal in 2013 that led to a build out in 2016, which I think would include Paradise here in Westmoreland. There was added capacity at Wigton, and there was content, I believe, in Clarendon. They took 8 years to issue the next RFP, which concluded in 2024, and it will take probably 3 years for those companies to build out. There's an additional 200 megawatts of generating capacity, which they intend to put to the market in another year or so. We have to increase the share of our energy sources from renewables so that we can mitigate against these shocks. That's really the only option that you have as a small island developing state.
But there are other things we can do. It's too difficult, for example, as an individual or a business, if you put in your own generating capacity, solar, for example, to get a net billing license. We have to encourage more wheeling, where if you generate in one location, you can provide the same electricity to another branch in another location. So there are things within our control, regardless of what is happening internationally, that we can do as a country. But frankly, we've just been too slow. So unfortunately, even if by the best luck, there are cessation of hostilities in the Middle East, we're going to have this sustained period of high oil prices because generating capacity has been destroyed, which will take time to recover. But I hope we will use this crisis as a country to do more to encourage. For example, I think we need to look again at the duties on electric vehicles, the duties on hybrids, for example, so you can make it more attractive for people to use those kind of cars versus just gas or diesel. So the long and short is there are things within our control that I think as a country and a government we can be doing more so that if we have another shock 2, 3, 4 years from now, we won't have the same impact on the country.
Thank you. Yeah. So go ahead, Mr. Hill. Thank you, Mr. Robbins.
Yeah. The assumption that the US dollar will not be the currency, that's some we'll see where that goes. But I think I endorse what Julian has to say about the things that we must do as a country. There are two other things that I'd point out. That the energy transition will take some time because the base energy for industry, for example, will require gas or oil for some time. But we have to transition out of that. The other thing I'll say is that we will be looking at energy security arrangements, and I think CARICOM provides some possibilities because of the energy finds within CARICOM, mainly between Guyana and Suriname, and perhaps something for us down the road. Don't know. But even if it's just Guyana and Suriname, I think there's a discussion that must be had about energy security within CARICOM.
Thank you very much. One next question. Over to the left. Who has the mic? I'm not sure which one went off first, but.
I just want to ask about Westmoreland. From the
Can you say your name, sir? And
Ryan Morrison, president of the Niggle Entertainment Association.
Thank you.
We don't have a problem with waste management. We have seen a lot of countries using waste to transform the energy. Why is it that we have taken so long to use waste to energy transformation?
I mean, we were last in government, there was a task force set up to deal with the transformation of Riverton, actually. But quite frankly, we have not seen any tangible movement on it. In fact, I think they were going to relocate. You want to?
Yeah, so there was a proposal to look at the waste situation around Riverton, that being the largest dump. Really, it's not a land force was put in place. The work of that task force, the last meeting I had with them was about a year ago, and that task force continued, but not at the pace that I think is warranted and necessary. And we still haven't gotten to a stage where we're ready to see a concrete proposal being put. So we're still awaiting that. But waste to energy should be a part of that mix of transition measures that we take.
I think that it needs to be looked at as being a special case because it provides energy, but it also deals with your waste problem. And it's unique in that respect. And Jamaica's I'm represent a constituency in Kingston, and I was discussing with my counselors yesterday. We have bulky waste now problems, all kind of things people put out on the road, people doing construction and leave refuse on the road, etc. So even though our domestic waste we're managing fairly well in my constituency, I have a program that I deal with that, but the bulky waste is a big problem, and the government, you don't really have a process for managing that. It's done in an ad hoc way from time to time when it gets bad, you know. So I think if we look at the waste to energy as a thing that is not just solving an energy issue and diversifying our energy mix and trying to get our cost of energy down, but it's also a way of dealing with the solid waste problem, then I think we could prioritize it more, you know. Yeah. I know your MP was bawling about the garbage disposal situation. On the video. Yeah.
Just before MP Hales continues to lament the situation, so I think enough has been said about the waste to energy part of the discussion. I think that we, coming out of the hurricane, there was a program that was being done through the Ministry of Local and very well, because residents were able to put out that bulky waste and they were able to clean, debush the area, clean the drains. You know, the communities were looking like life was being restored. That was discontinued and a centralized program done. I don't know for what good reason, because the initial program was also providing significant financial assistance to residents who are in need. What we now have is that pretty much as the elected officials, we become the chief mendicants. We beg on a daily basis for basic services. I mean, the garbage is piled up in sections of White House and in Darliston and Bethel Town. And, you know, it becomes a breeding site for rodents, for rats and all of those things, which then leads to an public health disaster. So I think more really needs to be done by the National Solid Waste Management Authority to deal with just the collection and disposal of the waste.
I would like to thank you so much for the question and the answers. I would also like to add something to the matter of solid waste. Some years ago, I think it might have been 2007, 2009, the mayor were discussing it last week. There was a plan to set up a transfer station in George's Plain. We had a groundbreaking up there, and some equipment, I understand, were delivered. But for some reason, the project didn't get off the ground. Now, when you think of the distance from Westmoreland to Montego Bay, which is where we carry the garbage, it takes very long. It's a long trek. But considering the road conditions, when a truck leaves Westmoreland and manages to reach Montego Bay, that's probably one trip for the day. So even if we increase the number of trucks, it's still going to be a difficult task. What we need to do, and MPs Campbell and Vaz and Hills, it's a matter that the chamber would love to discuss with you. How can we revisit that and get it going? Because it would ease the burden and the handling of the garbage. George's Bay is just right up there, and the land, everything is there.
I had a meeting with the NSWMA in terms of the transfer station in George's Plain. They have advised that within the next 5 weeks, the transfer station in George's Plain will be up and running, due to the fact that we transport garbage from Westmoreland all the way into St. James. A lot of time. Well, yeah. They have assured me that within the next, I think we are now down to 3 weeks remaining for the transfer station in George's Plain to be open.
That is good news. All right, next question, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Due to the course of this week, the Balvin Leslie
Meat Plus Limited. During the course of this week, at the PAC meeting, there was a revelation that the institution that is being investigated had about $40 million outstanding in taxes and other payments. Or when we were this 80 million plus interest and penalties. But my concern says that there are reports about a number of other companies that have had large taxes written up. I just one of them is said to be a radio station that also gets a large amount of budgetary support. It
Needs to be done in that regard. We've been struggling with very clear that it's pointless in getting this money and the people can't back their business favorably. And I think the frustration is there, and that's the reality for a lot of the small businesses. Sure.
And just to add some light to what it was being offered to the Development Bank of Jamaica, it's actually $10 billion that they have to the commercial banks to lend to borrowers. The rate is 8%. The challenge, though, for micro and small businesses is that there's a lot you have to do to qualify. Some things include a business plan where whatever you're doing, you have to be able to explain how it's going to continue to generate money and how it's going to be able to earn revenue so you can pay back a loan. You have to show your financials. So for small shops, that might be the total cash you have in and what you have going out. But to get those things done, you need guidance. And so when President Jaibar says in joining the Chamber of Commerce, what it adds for you is that you have strength in numbers. And you may have people in the chamber, 10 people are going to come charge them this smaller rate, because the truth is, to the financial statements are upwards of $200,000. A small business owner doesn't have that to just put aside rather than to invest in their business. I know you would say to me, no, 200,000, I could buy a lot of things to buy and sell back, right? Right. So the truth is that you can, through community, I heard President Jaibar say mentoring each other. If you come together, you can do something to help you qualify for those loans. And then it's actually a commercial bank that you have to go to. So we need to spend some more time, if we're serious as a country about small businesses, and invest in the things that small businesses need to be able to move forward. And I'm sure you agree with me, right?
Senator, and I would like to pause to also acknowledge the presence of another senator who just joined us, Robin Small Ferguson. Welcome, sir. And Senator Anderson, to follow up on your point, so JBDC, Jamaica Business Development Committee, there's a branch here at Dunbar's River. So what we will do as a chamber is invite them here, because they will assist with business plan, registration of business, etc. And a lot of their services they will do for free. And I think there's a fee for some parts of it. So we will invite them here for you to provide you with that kind of support. Also, getting a loan is not just a straightforward thing. If you don't have certain records and so forth, you're not going to get it. So what we have planned for you for the next chamber meeting, and I just announced it here, which is May 13th, we have someone coming in who will be going through a checklist with you of all the things you need to know, need to do, and need to have if you're going to apply for a loan and if you're going to be successful. So make sure you don't miss the next chamber meeting. All right, next question. There was a gentleman behind him, I think Mr. Noble. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Along the line with Sir Jackson and D. Anglin, owner and operator of Deal Westmore Hardware in Darlington. That's in Eastern Westmont. My member of parliament is issue where small business monitoring some guidance where you can lend the person the funds so that they can get to take the business to the next level. Because that has over the years has always discouraged a lot of people. They give up because they don't have the wherewithal to get the loan. And it's very discouraging. It's heartrending. And we have always heard that the small business are the backbone of the society. They are the one that goes in the nooks and crannies of the areas. Something needs to be put in place. Better organization for them. So we can be able to access these loans, that we can take our business to the next level. That is what we really want. Thank you.
And I mean, there's international experience around microlending, where the Grameen Bank experience in Bangladesh and many other countries that were modeled on that, where you design the financing and the access to suit the people you're trying to help. So you don't push the requirements out of reach. The way we want it to perform.
And I said it at the start, small and micro. And so when we get them going, we get an economy to improve. And with that said, this discussion will end at 8:30. So I implore you, if you have questions, keep them brief for me. Please just get straight to the point. And I really want to hear from some of the persons from those sectors, small and micro. Let us hear your concerns and what kind of help you need. Because Mr. Golding, as you rightly said, some of us will never be able to get a loan at this stage until we get some things in order. But a little grant could go far away. So we'd love to hear from some of you. Who is next? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crystal Evans. I'm the country manager for Harmony FinTech Limited. So basically what we do is that if you're a jerk man and people come buy from you and they have them card, you can just take your phone and show them it and scan it and they can take the payment. So they don't necessarily have to have cash. Market vendors, same thing. That is what we do. So my concern, I have a little call, is the integration of technology into our economy, especially Westmoreland commerce and industry. My other concern is young people. We don't have no plan for young people. We don't have no ecosystem to develop geniuses. And when that don't happen, then they become rogue. Most of the community maladies and the social issues that we have is because we allow our brightest people to just right that. So I haven't heard anything for the youths. We have a youth ministry, I don't hear nothing. We have a technology ministry, I don't hear nothing either. It's all performative. A lot of speeches and discourses. One of my friends like to say, the white man have AI, the Chinese have production, are above oil and all. There's a whole lot of conversations. We're always having that. We're not executing. All right, for some of you people who, we like to say, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. What's your part in all of that? We can't just wait on to make it happen. It has to be like a group effort if we're going to move fast. So I just want to know about the integration of technology into our economy and the plans for the young people. Right? Mr. Ferguson, heard you spoke about the crime. It's deeper than that, as we all know. All right? Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Our campaign manifesto had two specific funds. We had a strategy that we want to create pockets of capital, and that would really help economic actors in those pockets to move forward in a serious way. And the young people was one. So we had a fund for youth business entrepreneurs, $1 billion. replenished annually that would provide financing for any young people who wanted to get going in business. And we would try and design the requirements so that they would be able to get those funds out the door and deployed in the economy as quickly as possible. That was one. And we had another one relating to the entertainment sector specifically, which young people are the main practitioners in. So they would also be able to, and that was considered broadly, music, drama, art, cooking, you know, whatever it is, cultural and creative industry. So that was our vision, to really provide finance at that area to support that ecosystem. And then those ministries could provide other inputs, training, and, you know, assistance in handling, navigating the economic space and the regulatory requirements where they are and so on. But the funding part of it, we want to solve in that way. In terms of tech, I'm going to let someone else speak to that. But essentially, I agree with you. We've had some problems with tech because, for example, the mobile wallet system has not really worked. In Jamaica, NCB made a big foray with Link. It hasn't really happened. Really happened either. I think I got $1,000 or $2,000 worth of Jamdex a couple of years ago. Nigel Clark made a big deal of it in his budget, paying his barber. I don't know if his barber ever got paid, or if he did, if he's been able to do anything with the money. You know, it has all stalled. So we really need to look at how we deal with the digitization of the economy, because there are other countries which have been liberated by that. I mean, India, for example, they have this system called ADR or something like that, which has enabled them to deliver benefits to it. And you know how big India is. It's the most populated country in the world now. It's bigger than China. And they have been able to deliver into villages all over India government benefits, state benefits through the ADR system, which is entirely digital. In India, you can pay for anything from your phone, even from a market vendor. You want to buy a melon, you can pay for it through ADR. And they all have bank accounts facilitated by this. So you have to have a vision for making technology accessible at grassroots level and then build from there. I'm not a techie, but that's how I see it being. Unless you do that, it doesn't really have the impact that you desire. Does anyone else?
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. In my portfolio, productivity, efficiency, and competitiveness, technology is one of the prime enablers. And if I could just take 2 minutes to say it operates at a number of levels. If we start at productivity at a personal level, the first thing we have to, transform is our education system. And we've been talking about this for forever. But when I go into a classroom today as a member of parliament, it looks very similar and it's organized much as it did when I was in school decades ago. If I walk into a bank or a supermarket or any other type of organization, it looks completely different and driven by technology, but we still haven't incorporated it in a meaningful way in our education system. We talk about upskilling our workforce. Technology is one of the ways that we can do that. Those who didn't get the first opportunity in school can be upskilled. And one of the initiatives we had around that was in our campaign manifesto was that we were going to use heart to match dollar for dollar every business who invested in upskilling their workforce, whether small, medium, or large businesses. We would have matched their investment in their workforce to improve their productivity. So that's at a personal level. At a business level, there's a whole it's AI is transforming personal productivity, particularly in some industries. But it is having devastating effects right now on many areas in our business process outsourcing. In Manchester, in central Manchester, I championed the first BPO center. I brought Sutherland Global to Manchester, and at their peak, they were employing close to 10,000 people in Jamaica. My understanding is now that has been cut in half, and it's affecting many other BPO type operations. So AI is inevitable, but if we don't use it, and if we're not early adopters of it, we're actually going to be victims of it. I give you another example. There's a company I'm associated with that had a margarine tub filling line, and they've just introduced, or in the process of introducing, a robotic line to replace the humans who are tub filling. They've reduced the employment on that line by 85%. But the efficiency, that company will now be able to compete in export, not just in the region, but across the world. So what this takes is investment at the company level to give people the skills. When I'm driving down to Mandeville every week, many times a week, it pains me to see people cleaning the highway, the east-west highway, with broom and rake and wackermen cutting the side. You never see that in a first world country. You know, they have machinery, sweepers that people sit on and, you know, go down the highway at 45 miles per hour, and it's so much more efficient. And these are the sorts of investments we need. At a national level, government bureaucracy is a huge impediment to improving our productivity. And, you know, a big part of that is corruption. Things stay inefficient so that people can eat our food from making it happen. There's a certain arbitrariness in our approval systems. They're not predictable. The first question I spoke about her interest in real estate development, I believe. And if you're development, it can be a minefield in terms of you try and go through the process, you follow everything. At the end of the development, the Water Commission might say, yes, I know we approved the project at the beginning, but guess what? You can't connect to this sewage line here, or you can't get water at this line. You have to run it another mile in order to base. The fire department says, yes, we approve your plans for the regular windows, but no, we really think you need fireproof windows. And this is the sort of unpredictability and uncertainty that discourages investment. And finally, I just want to say productivity and competitiveness that we have, which is the cost of energy. Just on my drive down here, I calculated on my residential bill what my last bill, what the cost per kilowatt hour was, and it was 47 US cents per kilowatt hour, which is, you know, and it's growing because I believe by next month, when the full impact of the oil prices be even more, there's very few manufacturing or energy intensive businesses that can survive. Farmers who have to pump water, imagine what this will have due to your irrigation costs. We know fertilizer costs are exploding already. So until we succeed in bringing this cost down, we're really not going to move forward in a energy intensive type industry. There are solutions which individual entities are finding, but the problem with that is that it's actually going to make electricity more expensive for the average Jamaican. And how is that? Because the best paying residential customers are putting in solar systems, which today at these prices will pay back for themselves in 3 or 4 years. The best paying commercial customers are putting, cogeneration systems in, which will pay for themselves. But when these people come off the grid, the overheads of JPS still has to be distributed by the rest of us. And therefore, the cost per kilowatt hour will keep going up. And that's, a serious impediment. And unless we have some transformational thinking, some really innovative, creative, radical thinking to bring down that cost in the shortest possible time. And that brain power does not exist at the Ministry of Energy right now, at the policy level.
Good evening. Roger Allen. Gentlemen, MPs at the head table, good evening. Good evening all. I won't ask you a question where you can't do anything about. I'm going to ask you the question that you can do something about. The people of Westmoreland over the years have always supported the People's National Party. Whichever way you look at it, the majority of the time, the people of Westmoreland support the People's National Party. I don't have a problem with the Prime Minister not paying us a lot of attention. That's the norm. What I have a problem with is when the PMP is in power, Westmoreland, who is always loyal, don't seem to be benefiting from the PMP in power. Typical example. The ferries to Maxwell Highway. Roger Clark went to Kingston, cry a lot of time for it. It was done under the JLP. We thought to Darlistan. It was done under the JLP. The biggest police station being built anywhere in Jamaica. Westmoreland. Point out to me and the PMP supporters in here, what are the tangible development that has taken place by the PMP in Central Westmoreland. That is what we'd like to see. Remember, we had the last election where PMP stay home. They might, I'm not telling them to do it again. We have seen where every constituency in Central Westmoreland went to the JLP in the election before the last. It may happen again. And until the PMP, when they are in power, pay attention to the people of Westmoreland by tangible development, we're going to see this flip-flop. We have always been loyal, Mr. Opposition Minister, but we have not seen where our loyalty is paid off.
Thank you, Roger. We hello, Mr. Golding.
Yeah. Perhaps your memory needs a little jogging. First of all, the whole development of the grill was a vision of Norman Washington Manley. So it starts from back then, coming through, and I'll let others. I'm going to start to my right and move across.
The Darliston water supply scheme was one of the most expensive schemes in Jamaica, done under the PNP to bring water to Darliston.
And the Macfield to Ferris, that was conceived, planned in the People's National Party and funded and was implemented by the JLP, which is how government operates. You start something, and because of the lapse in time and the bureaucracy, it gets implemented in another period.
Yeah.
Folks, we are interested in who make it happen. Right? Okay, Mr. Next question. You can hand over that one, Mr. Opposition Leader. And when you go in office, because you will go in office, you know, don't worry about it. All of you gentlemen that are sitting at the head table will get the next chance that you'll be in office. Opposition and finance, what are the taxes that the government earn on solar system, whether it be panel, battery, inverter?
Yeah, just to say though, I think I'm going to hand it to Julian so he can respond to your question about taxes on solar. But to say that you're not interested in how a project originates, you're only interested in who executes, is a bit short. And then you do the construction. And as it so happens, in the case of that particular road, by the time it reached that stage now where it's just to engage a contractor and execute,
is the government part. I do understand that. I do understand that.
So, yeah.
But as a person who have gone with Member of Parliament Roger Clark into Kingston, who shed a lot of tears for that road to see it being implemented under a JLP administration, is a very heartbroken one.
I understand, Roger. I mean, we feel it too when we do the work, but the nature of politics, if you lose, somebody else is going to implement. Many of the things being done by the current government were conceived by us. Highway 2000 named after Siaga was our idea.
Okay.
But he opposed it. So Roger, I hear you, but don't discount the work that would have been done to conceive of these ideas. And we are working hard to ensure that we implement. So we are in a position where we can implement. In terms of your question, my understanding is that taxes are not applied for solar panels or for the batteries.
For the inverter, the taxes on the inverter, would the PMP government remove all government taxes from solar panel, from inverter, and from battery, that the people can build their own alternative energy?
Maybe inverters, but I recently put in one and I don't recall there being taxes on the batteries or from the panels.
Okay.
I would have to check the inverters. I don't think so. That there are taxes on that. I don't think so.
One last question.
Roger,
the Cuban doctors has been removed.
Yes.
We understand the whole politics. We understand the whole American thing and all of that. Now we can't fight America. What I want you to ask the government, what is the replacement for the people of Westmoreland, Sablamar Hospital, for the Cuban doctors? Because there is a void, and we are all going to suffer down here if they're not there.
We want
the government, I want you to ask the government, what is the alternative?
We have, and they have no alternative.
And they no answer?
No, they have no alternative.
Okay,
I mean, let's just be frank. They have put no plans in place. The reality is that the Cuban doctors work in remote areas where many Jamaicans don't want to work. They are in specialist areas where we don't have the expertise. There is no plan. It's as simple as that.
They're talking about going to this country and that country to try and source. But who knows what that will bring? You know, until those arrangements were concretized and in place, how could you send home doctors that are providing vital services that people need? You're just creating a gap that's going to cost people's lives. And I don't think that should have happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the final question. But what we will do, if Mr. Goley will allow the time for one-on-one interaction after we close this section. Is that okay, sir? Briefly, for a few minutes. MP Robinson, I must tell you that there are indeed some taxes on some components of the solar system. I do believe there's some taxes on the panels also. There are none? There are taxes on some components, I'm very sure. I can't say exactly which one, but there are some taxes on some. You can double check it. Ladies and gentlemen, it has really been an evening well spent. We got some very good questions in, some good answers, some quite a bit of passion came out today from the persons here, and that is good actually, because it's really good that we're able to sit down and talk like this and express freely, say what's on your mind, and allow Mr. Golding and his team to reply. I want to share with you though that as we continue to operate in a highly competitive environment which spans globally, it's important that we continue to upgrade our skills. And the Heart and Estate Trust, they do have a number of programs that are underutilized. And I implore all of us here today, whether us as individual owners of businesses or our employees, to get them enrolled. And I tell you, especially for the small and micro, there are some programs that comes with a grant. So for a small business owner, if you enroll in a program with Heart, at some point at the end of the program or before, you have the opportunity to access a grant of up to $300,000. That could be a start for some persons, or a recovery fund. And it's a grant, which means you don't have to pay it back. For medium-sized or small businesses, there's also another grant up to $1 million. I don't have all the details of how you qualify for them, but they exist. And I would encourage you to go on the site, check them out, and see what you can enroll in and what you can access. It's money that is there, and a lot of it is taxpayers' money. So why not access it and use it to build your business? We're all in recovery mode, so I implore you to do that. Heart and Estate Trust. And if you want, I can. At the chamber here, we can point you in that direction. I hope you all registered and your email addresses are there, because we can email for you contact information, the email addresses, and even phone numbers of places you can go to the website and you can check to see what it is you could enroll in and what you could access over time. A very good programs help to develop your skills and the skills of the people around you. And also, so left for me to really thank the first, yes.
I just wanted to update you because I checked the thing on the solar panels. Lithium batteries, inverters for solar applications are exempt from GCT and import duties. 0% GCT and duties apply. There's a very small fee, I think 0.3 of 1% and 0.5 of 1% environmental levy. And there's an income tax credit, a 30% income tax credit. So by and large, it is tax-free. And those persons who can, I mean, if you can access the funding to do it, I would encourage you, particularly at a time when energy costs are rising.
Thank you for that, Sir MP. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank the media for being here. I see we have BOJ here too. I want to thank each and everyone who showed up this afternoon. You've been here a long time, and we appreciate your patience for staying with us this long. We're really grateful for the questions and the answers. And last but not least, I would like to thank Mr. Golding and his team. You really came here today, sir, with quite a lot of support and resource persons that did very well in responding to the questions and making suggestions. And thank you also for your pledge of, was it $1 million, sir, or $100,000? Would I like to add zeros, you know? $100,000 to support the Labor Day project downtown South. Much appreciated. And members of my team, Oral, for providing the PA system, and for Hotel Commingle for catering for us today, allowing us to use this space. We're most grateful. Thank you all very much. You can hang out, get to know each other. And for those who may have a question and didn't get to ask it, but please don't bombard them. We can spend another 5 minutes or so with that little interaction. Thank you all very much. The meeting of the Chamber of Commerce of Westmoreland is now terminated.
Well. That was it, guys. That was it. The meeting is ended, and that was a good one. So let me stop this for now. Thank you all for joining. God bless you. Me stop the stream, but me not see. Oh, you did it again. Da. Let me see something. Let me see something. Me stop the stream. No, me see enough people are jump on. I don't know what going. You just move on to. So you still a go on. You still a hear me? Oh, you press it? I'm ready for in here. People come on. Hey guys, let me know if you're hearing me because this thing giving a little problem here. Nessa, the funny. Thank you, Nessa. Nessa, you hear me? Let me know if you still hear me here because the new internet is still a buffer. It look better than the first one, though. Text me and let me know if you're still hearing. That's what me I test out. Oh, she's still like, okay. Oh, that's good. That is great. So we can still go longer upon this then. These are my people. Let me see. Look at them. No love. Then something. Because you know, notice me. No hardly have nobody on here. I don't know if you realize me, girl. Let's say I go to live. Are you going to do live tonight? You know, so I believe say when this stream stop, everything stop. But when it stop, me see 10 somebody jump. I'm say hold on there. So I'm gonna ask Abby if he's still. I know me too. Me kind of new to this, you know. I cannot teach myself, girl, how to do it. So you know, the live tonight, and Isabel Rose. Well, I bet. Yeah, I bet. You're tired. Me cannot do this, but me cannot. With Abby laptop, you know. Everything come up all right, you know, cause you did see it, cause you did come on. All right. But I said, oh, me not hear nothing any man at all. That time it just started. And then, sir, when we realized our speaker, just the idea she get the laptop, you know, just not long ago, the speaker gone. Me said, Jesus gosh. So I'm not catch it for the top, come at the end that they one day and come and run back to my laptop where and start it and read on this. But this one I couldn't use the OBS because the OBS as you know how to behave. So I have to go to the first part now where you know mind. Mm-hmm. I have to go to the first part. The first part which she taught me how to do and do and do it from there. But anyway, a little bit better. Little bit better than the Starlink. Little bit better. It buffers too, but it's little bit better than the Starlink. Me not lie. Cause the Starlink can come like I say it ago, pregnant me. Mm, Mrs. So, which the buffer again. I told me move on the hall, Lord gosh. Oh. Yeah, it better for true. It look better. It buffers when you ready, but it look better for real. Because for the one time, I would have to stop it completely. So a little better for true. Me go up and learn how to set it up myself. Uh-oh. Yes, I'm going to go for charger. No, just sitting one update. I come back for charger it I did. Me listen to one man in I meet there, Nessa. The name Raja. Me don't know. Yeah, some question, yes. So man, my paper, my labor right. You look like my labor right. I'm independent. Me no put it here, me na meeting. You new update ready. Is it new? My team say it's just ready for update. Sometimes, honest, I wonder if the Monday when I meeting Raja, the one where I think I'm actually last set of questions. What do you think about him? Tell me, girl, what do you think about the Monday? What do you think about that young man? Raja, the dark complexion, the one that was saying that Roger Clark went to Kingston and cried I water for the place them do and the place was done under the JLP. And everything you see mentioned whatever was under the JLP. The truth and sound like a labor right come up MP meeting. Mr. Can you fall asleep? Hello? I cried on the wall, please. Me give them meat and some food. When me put the meat in the box, they might jump up on me and I crawl up. And they will have strength, And they have a couple of teeth in their mouth. So I said, so why they not eat? Because before they can't. But but kitten have to win for eat. I mean, we still have some kitten before and I miss one call back. Me the power line. Miss one call back. Maybe done that something. Yeah. Maybe done. Sorry about that. Me talk about puss and I remember some me the power line. Sorry, yeah. Carry them. Miss Rosie. I guess he was more the hurt side based on the lack of assistance, even through. Yes, I truth. I truth attack. I truth. We cannot figure that out too. But boy in cross, brother, not true. In rough. Hi, Everton say the man is truthful. I shame PMP shame. No, no PMP no. What PMP do wrong? Um, but most of what them are say, most of the things that did set from PMP time, I just them be carried. But two are different people. PMP was in power, but no, Labour was in power. What we put it now? Labour was in power at the time when Bustamante, when Roger Clark cried to them, but it was PMP who set the stage from before for the things that we do. You understand me? So, so maybe we say, really, that's how you think of it, Everton. Um, mm, um, however, he was corrected. Yeah, of course, he was corrected with the statement. However, he was corrected with the statement he made as he relates to the tangible achievements under the PMP. Yes, and even the solar, with the matter about lights and so forth. You see, him, my name again, Jesus peace. Julian Robinson set it straight. And then he go doing research. Guy said he bought some before and go doing research and him explain it. You understand? So that's why so liberate told them stay. They love come chat. Cause them did they listen I met when know so them a listen. That's what they liberate told them. No pay them no mind. No, no pay them no mind, Anissa. No argue with them. That's all they are. I'm glad Sam join. At least him a listen. At least Everton is listening. Thank you for joining, Everton. Will you please subscribe before you leave? You don't have to anyhow. So no pay no mind, Anissa. Anyway, turn demons come there. So no pay no mind. Let them talk. So may I tell us anyway, but as you said, Nessa, he was corrected and he accepts. So what's the problem? What is the problem? So anyway, that was a good meeting anyhow, and so forth and so forth. Because the Biden never said nothing wrong, you know. No, all when them had, all when one PM I drive them a precipice, they don't see nothing wrong. Them have to brought them behind before they see where which went wrong. And when almost at the time the same PMP never turn on and help them. See, it's all right. All right, Everton, they were talking about the Cuban doctors. What is about that the party? The man asked question about the Cuban doctors and everything. What and what is going to happen and who going to get. What did you didn't hear that part? Let me know, Everton. Did you hear that part about the Cuban doctors? The Cuban doctors were here under the PNP, under Michael Manley. Under Michael Manley, the Cuban doctors end up in Jamaica. Yeah. And your Michael Manley says people fi walk on their feet and not crawl on their knees. Yeah, and the Cuban doctors under them, and now the Labour right get rid of them. How you are gonna manage Everton if you should have need certain things to happen to you? If anything happen to you, yeah, them are your head, are your bottom or anywhere? Who got to take care of you? Yeah, you know what I'm saying at the meeting since night. Some places where the Cuban doctors work, Jamaican doctors now work there. So what you say about that? But PMP can't help anyone. PMP can't help anyone. PMP help me. PMP help my family. PMP help a lot of people. But to two no blind, deaf and dumb. And while on own mess, we get up and chat all kind of foolishness. Me love talk politics, you know. Every time me we send you somewhere. I mean, I want God see me because I'm a woman and God. Me we trust me we fix you know. Not too bright. And Isabel was not paying no MMCs all when all of them can replace them so they can't find them yet. But didn't you listen every time when the question was asked what is going to happen? Didn't you hear what happened? Well, every time I must say, go put them in there. Maybe you have two in your yard. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because the mother retired, I mean, no say that fix it, yes, sir. I mean, yes. And anyway, Everton, that lady Anna Isabel Rose, you can go and subscribe to her channel, ABR TV, News TV. She have the facts and everything what there. She will know if you fix no more than me because certain things when I want to say, she will say it. Trust me, she will. But I'm glad say you come on, Brian, you're still, I'm glad you come on here, but but you're not reasonable because you listen but you're not listen good. You don't like PMP, and you can better PMP a feed you. Me a PNP, I love everybody. Hey, you see, we talk about labor right. Labor right thief and keep it themselves. PNP not thief nothing. Or if they even technical, they share it. Yeah. Me no see that movie long time this. Me no see that movie. Me can't see. I'm a brethren. That's why in the fire. In like we. You see over here. PNP broke. You see everything over here. In like we can't like you over here. In a gun pa Andrea Stevens program or the gun pa some liberal program or some other program, but in come over here. That's why in love with. He love me and you. Thank you for joining here, Everton. And call more your other friend over here. Yeah? In love over here, man. In love over here, man. Love over here, bad. And you must call more your friend him to you. Everton, more your liberal friend him. Tell me come over here so night time. Yeah? Why? Everton, me not talk politics. Me put up the PMP news about me no talk it, you know. But that's true, me rate where you go on tonight. Me listen to you, know. Because any me but turn ABR in a moderator, in fix your business, you see. Yes, Everton, yeah, man, invite your friends. Remember, we are one family, we are friends. So, yeah, but you don't love PMP. I like you, I tell you love because you love me. Because everybody love you over here. And you love Anessa Bell Rose. Everybody love you, and still over here. And see that you still over here, answer. And so God bless you, my dear. Me love you. I'm a child of God, and me love you. Me love everybody. Jesus, let me tell you something. See, Jesus love everybody. Me tell you, Jesus happy PMP, you know. Jesus happy PMP. You know what me tell you about PMP? He love everybody. Satan not liberate. Satan no love nobody but themselves. So you can say, well, I liberate them are demons. But Jesus a PNP. And you notice Jesus love everybody. As some know say Jesus a PNP. Jesus a PNP. But they were that. Me not call it demons, you know. You love me in person? I love you in person. But you don't know me if you love me in person. I wanna sleep. Oh, yes, Anissa. See that man, tomorrow we chat. You're my girl. Love you very much, and I'm happy you're here. And that's not go yet. No go yet. No go yet. No go. Them tell the man tell you that go block everybody. This one. I mean, I delete them. Here, well, where phone there? Me turn in the moderator, Anissa. You're my girl. You still. We can't find the phone. This one. Well, I did this. They have so much device. Not even know which one of them. Lord God. There's a some that fix him long time. That's a in love with, you know, see my going to lie matel. In love with, no pay him no mind. Sometimes you have to ignore ignorance, you know. When this is not good. When this is sometimes you have to ignore ignorance. You can't make them have weak. Because that them want to know when them sit 100 upon life, when they sit they have your weak, that's when that some of them love. They love the argument and the so forth and so forth and so forth. They love it, you know. But what have be bigger than him? Well, on the son left yet. I be adzads. Jesus, please. Hold on there. So my phone them still up on the Starlink, you know, so them slow. But more I use what you will like Starlink. Wait, no, listen, no, wait, no, man. What do you say? What do you say? Wait, no, listen, I sit me a wait, man. Me a skippy. Ah. So that's something I'm still upon the Starlink, man. So you're weak. Hold on. Just give me a second, girl. Don't sleep yet, please. Yeah, man, it's okay for debate, man. You see, you guys say love me. You can't understand it. But then you say, hold on, man. I sit no come up it. It's a move. Let me show you something. Look there. You see, it's still upon the Starlink, you know. You see, it take long to come up. So give me a little bit of time till it show up. God Almighty. When they know, man, they must think, hi. It's still not come up yet. Yes, you know, disrespect me, man. But look, must see me cussing, okay? I say, chew me bex. Come in, if you start sitting the right way. Look, must be cussing, I'm saying, no, I'm not cussing. Everybody entitled their own opinion. You see, thing now come up on this. Oh, all right, what on in this, sir? Oh, that one a total failure. Try that phone, yeah, if it go. That one's a total failure. Me have to go switch. Hold on the girl, hold on the girl, hold on. The time when me go on this of me people, them no come on, them the time they know. Me just go on, so at them a time my people go on. No, me married this and my husband what what tell you say no mosquito a mosquito jam with something. Me remember ya. Me never tell you say master. No, not no. I'm a divorcee. And Isabel was sitting them slow your fret. Me so switch over all of them, you know. It's as soon as the Starlink service up, that time I go switch. I go move come. I'm going to come over completely over to the new internet. As soon as the Starlink, I mean I pay too much money a month feet and the shut it down. So you must say crazy. All right. I'm for doing that now. What on this are you more fine now? So me I tell you say, so Everton, you love over here, man. And look what you do with look well. Look what's what because in Everton. You were plucking my last nerves. But true me strong. Me just stay fit. So Anessa, what time you wake up in the morning? You carry my granddaughter go to school tomorrow morning. Or your sister do it. Tell me before you come off. Me feel like me is ready to do live. Jesus, I got my part. But guess what now? We tell you, we like, me love to end this one and then me start it over. So me start it over. My come like I said, maybe people them get the notification and then come on. Because I was planning to end this one, and then me start it over. But I true me see when I told somebody come on, make me just stay and this and done. What time now? All right, time of me start the other live. Then let me not talk no politics, so nobody not to trace me like Everton. Yes, sir. Where did you sleep? Cuckoo. I call you. Cuckoo. Anessa Bell Rose. What's she gone? She's gone. Nessa, wake up. I better wake her up. I'm going to ring her phone. But man, I God said, you think so you better than me? I'm going to wake him up, you see? And ABR, I'm going to wake you up. I'll be phone on the pan, do not disturb, I'm going to wake you up. Watch ya, in purpose, and you go pin me. That's why you go pin me ears. Why you do that? Why you so rude? Why you so rude? She hang up on me. Jesus, please. And you laughing though? She laugh they know. Me know she know. You say me go me go hide for you for about 3 months though. If you do this to me. My laugh, you know. Me see her. I can't see her. Laugh. Watch me now. I call her again, no. Watch me now. Make it hang up again. Wow, good dog. Me tell but that's me go call you know. Me tell but that's tell her say she laugh, you know. She go put me in a laugh. Mm. Oh. Hey, really, me know where I say, me know where I say. Really, the matter man, I tell me love, do me stop start me life, you know. They were them tell me love start it. Me go do. All right. So have a good night tomorrow. See a button, me call her, she answer. All right. Okay, I'm going now. Oh. So bye bye, my friend Everton. And bye bye, all of you. Take care of yourself. I'm going to end that sitting here now. I'm going to hungry, I'm sitting here now. Jesus, I'm going to end it. Oh, sit up, so. I'm new to this, you know. Trust me. Good night.